Alright YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is April 27th. We only have one NBA playoff game to jump into today. It is the Atlanta Hawks hosting the Boston Celtics. We're going to go through the game. I'll give you my lean on the game, give you my lean on the total. My final plays will be in the pinned comment. You'll probably get a sense of what I do deem sort of final play in this video as well, because we don't have to fly through the entire slate. We can take our time with it, but nonetheless, it's probably going to be a little bit shorter of a video, understandably so. One game to talk about here, but as of right now, Atlanta plus 6.5 at home here on the spread. And then in terms of a total, we're looking at 232. We're going to jump into that, guys. Before we do, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and like this video as well. Run up the like button in today's video. I know we only have one game, so let's make a game of it. Let's hit a bunch of likes, 150 plus on today's video. And then I also want to talk to you guys about Outlier. Now, I've talked to guys about them in the most recent videos, and I've been using them still. Very awesome tool when it comes to incorporating it into your sports betting research. They have a trends page that can kind of start you off on the right foot, but then they also have all these visuals that you can incorporate in your repertoire when it comes to researching games. I use it every single day now. We're going to jump in and find an outlier play of the day in this game later on in the video, so stick around for that. But definitely check out Outlier. I have a link for that in my bio or in my description and in the pinned comment if you do want to find that. But let's go ahead. Again, Atlanta plus 6.5 here at home. Total sitting at 232. I'm going to start with the total here. Both these teams, at least in this series now, have hit this over 232 in 3 straight games. Dating back, it was 130 to 122, then 129 to 121, and then 119 to 117. So this over has absolutely been killing it. I do think that we're going to lean towards the over. Now, I will say that is a very high number, especially for a playoff game, but I think that the Hawks realize they do need to up the tempo. So the only thing that could kill this in terms of a lean or anything like that is if the Celtics really do come in to this game and say, okay, we need to buckle this you-know-what down. We cannot be letting up a bunch of fast break points. We need to handle our shit today. So I do think that, that could be a rationale for the under, which is kind of why I'm kind of back and forth on it, right? I do lean towards the over just because these two teams have trended in that direction. But if the Celtics really want to close out the series, they probably do come to play today and kind of lock it down, which makes my probably favorite pick in this game, and one that I actually will consider making it a final play here. That is going to be Celtics minus 6.5. They've covered 6.5 line in 3 of their last 5 games here. Obviously, a couple of those being against the Hawks. I do think that that was the punch in the mouth that the Celtics needed. Now they can go into Atlanta. This is a huge game. It's almost a must-win game. I do think the Celtics handle this in 7 if they do go out there and lose tonight, but I think that they want to handle business after blowing a double-digit lead in the 4th last game. So I'm going to lean towards the Celtics here, minus the 6.5. I have seen 7 on some sports books, so if you're on the Celtics side of things, you might want to pull the trigger now. If you are on the Atlanta side of things, you might want to wait and see if you can get that plus 7 on your sports book, because I think a lot of people are going to be in my mindset that the Celtics are going to come out rocking tonight. I expect the Celtics to be able to score 120 themselves. Whether or not Atlanta keeps up with them, we shall see. I do think that this is going to be a very intense game. I think the Celtics are more of an intense team and have that defensive presence as well. So the over, like I said, I'm not trying to bullshit any sort of confidence, and I'm trying to be transparent. I like the over. I wouldn't be surprised if this game hits the under, or I would be surprised if the Celtics don't go out there in dominant fashion, win this game. So that is going to be my lean. Again, guys, Celtics minus 6.5 is going to be a final play. Usually we do our final plays in the pinned comment. I'll still do that today, but what I will say is that obviously not much to further research our whole slate to digest. We've done our due diligence on this game. So let's jump into, again, the Outlier app here. We have it on our web version. It is available on the phone as well. An amazing app. It's so visual, so creative, really cool. Been loving what the guys are doing over there. But you can see this first page is the trends page, and they just do all the heavy lifting for you. They spit out all the trends that you should be aware of as you're going and looking into your plays. Like this, Jaylen Brown has failed to exceed 0.5 blocks in 13 of his last 14 games. Now, you see the odds are terrible here. We would never consider that. But if you did want to further investigate, you could dive in and look at everything here from a Jaylen Brown perspective. So the Atlanta, 20 blocks, 20th in terms of block ranking there, in terms of blocks allowed. He's hit this under in 75% of games this season, head-to-head with the Hawks. He's only done it once, dating all the way back to January. Last 5, you can see Jaylen Brown's history and everything like that, which is really cool, and it's very visual. But again, minus 235, not something we're willing to pay. They also have, like we just looked at, the games tab where you can look at all the games. in this props tab, which is really crazy. Every prop that's available on any of the 4 major sports books here, FanDuel, MGM, Caesars, or DraftKings, all of these here visually you can look at opponent ranks and stuff, and they also have an implied probability. But let's head back to the trends. Let's find a quick play here that we do like and we can lock in as our outlier play of the day. Trae Young has exceeded 1.5 more three-pointers in 9 of his last 10 games against Boston. I do like that. He's going to be jacking a bunch today, but minus 310 odds, not all that great. You can see the other sportsbooks lines if they do offer it here, but they do not. Let's keep moving along here. Let's keep scrolling until we see a bunch of green. Jaylen Brown failed to exceed 2.5 3-pointers made in 8 of his last 10 games against Atlanta. The last 2 games were ones in which he hit, and he did go off in those last 2 games. But you can see in his last 10, he's only hit the over here 3 times on the season, 57% to the under against Atlanta. You can see we already looked that up. I do think that we keep that one in our back pocket. So let's go ahead and when we do decide to make a pick, that might be one that we look at and want to do. So I'm going to actually add this to our picks. You can see it up here. We'll explain that in just a second. But let's keep scrolling here. Derek White has failed to exceed 4.5 assists in 11 straight games as a favorite. Let's check this out. You know, the odds aren't all that great at minus 188, but he really hasn't been passing the ball all that much. All right, we scrolled around and found one that I do think that we like. Jaylen Brown here, you can see, has failed to exceed 6.5 rebounds in 7 of his last 8 games on the road against a bottom 10 scoring defense. 4.5 rebounds per game. You see, he hit that last game. He did hit it in game 1 of this series. I do think on the season he's had a decent amount of rebounds. I still like the odds here, so we're going to go ahead and add that to our picks. That's going to be something we can consider. Now you can see we have our 2 picks to consider here, but let's go back and find a third, and that way we can kind of process of elimination. Which one do we like the best? And I think it might be this first one that's right in front of us. Tatum has failed to exceed 0.5 blocks in 6 of his last 8 games after a loss. If we go into this and see how much he's been blocking, he has been blocking as of late, so that kind of turns me off right away. But you guys can see how easy it is to get sort of an idea, really build some momentum, and then boom, I don't really like that pick anymore. So this is kind of real time going through and looking in and seeing what we have to actually work with here. Trae Young has failed to exceed 0.5 blocks, obviously minus 625 here. And then we have obviously the Celtics 6-2, 75% in this season against Atlanta. That's too much odds right there. Let's go ahead and go with this. I like this. Plus money. We get a little risky with it. We're spending a lot of time. Let's add this to our picks. But Jason Tatum has failed to exceed 9.5 rebounds in 13 of his last 20 games against opponents with a losing record. Let's go in and see what we got here. Jason Tatum, 2 straight games where he has not hit this. He hit the under in 58% of games, 55% of games against the Hawks this season. Last 10, 6 of his last 10. This is going to be our play because, again, we can see we get plus money odds, and boom, Caesars plus 108. We click that, it's going to open up right to the Caesars Sportsbook. I don't have to touch anything. It's going to put that game in, or that pick in my slip, and then we can add on whatever your unit size or anything like that is. So I do like that, guys, and we're going to wrap it up there. That is going to be our outlier play of the day. We're getting a little risky with a plus money play, but I do definitely like it. So hopefully you guys do enjoy outlier. I know that was kind of a longer version, but short video today. I figured it was a good opportunity to dive into the app. If you do want to check it out, I got a link in my description and in the pinned comment for you guys. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. All right, peace out.